Okay, it looks like we are finally live. Just kept sitting there. So probably means my internet's doing really well today. Compared to what it normally does, that awesome 0.7 down, 0.18 up that I get usually. It's supposed to be 1 down and 0.3 up, but I never get that. But welcome. And I know that sounds like I'm living in 1989, but that's just what it is. But welcome everyone to Shooting It. No, wait, this ain't Shooting It with Yankee. This is the Yankee Marshall's Lonely Yankers chat. Not that it matters which title it is, it's the same thing. But welcome. If you've never been here before, this is just a chat between myself and my viewers. If you've got any questions or topics you'd like to hear me discuss, just put them in the live chat. Type at the Yankee Marshall, @ symbol, the Yankee Marshall, all one word, no spaces, 1 L in Marshall. That will pop up a little red box around where you type my name. So I'll know that is for me. I'll see that. You can also talk to each other that way if you want to, with each other's screen names. That way, the only person who'll see that red box is the person you're addressing it to. Also, excuse me, I've got a little bit of a cough. I'm a little chest congestion, not feeling too good the last few days. Not sleeping well, so I'm cranky, which is why my kids are up now scouring the kitchen clean. Yesterday, they had to clean their rooms top to bottom. I made them take everything out of their rooms, even clean along the baseboards and clean the baseboards, and then I allowed them to put stuff back into their room after they were done as they cleaned it and put it back, because I was in a grouchy mood and I was tired of the fucking filthy ass fucking rooms in a house that I'm paying for. So I said, you're 16 and 22 years old. You don't need to live like your little kids anymore. Clean your fucking rooms. And I said, by the time I get off my chat tonight, which was 6 o'clock yesterday, I said, when I walk in here, if it ain't done, then everything in your room that is electrical gets the cord taken out of it. And your phones are handed over to me, and you do not get them back for 72 hours. That motivated them to get it done. Today, I was like, you know what? You're going to do the same thing to the kitchen and your bathroom. So get to it. So that's what they're doing right now. And when I last went up there, they were doing a good job. So it looked like it's going to be nice and clean. when I get pissy and don't feel well, my kids end up cleaning. They don't complain, though, really. I mean, they're not the type of kids that throw a fit. They're just like, okay, we'll do it. Just got to tell us. I'm like, I shouldn't have to fucking tell you. But you know how kids are. But like I said, welcome. If you got anything for me, put it in the live chat at the Yankee Marshall, 1 L in Marshall, all one word, no spaces. Also, if you've got a question or a topic you definitely want answered, and I don't get to it in the chat, I try to get to all of them, and I usually do get to all of them. But if there's something you want answered right away in a timely manner or more in depth, you can do a super chat. That's just clicking that little dollar symbol down there below, donating to the channel. You donate to the Pets and Vets Fund when you do that. And you can do that if you just want to donate to the Pets and Vets Fund. You don't even have really a question or a comment. A lot of people do that. Well, not a lot. There's like 8 or 9 of you that do that quite often. But that's one option you have. And every time you donate $4.99 or more to the Pets and Vets program through a super chat, you do get one entry into the friend drawing. And the friend drawing cutoff is tonight. In fact, we will announce it. Since this is a short chat, it's only 1 hour, I will announce the winner at the beginning of tomorrow's chat, and I will also announce all of the TYM P recipients from this month. Because like I say, we haven't been announcing them weekly. I've been waiting until at the end of the month and just announcing them all at once. So we'll be doing that. So at the end of tomorrow, we will announce all the TYMP recipients, and we will announce the winner of the friend drawing, which I will hold. Well, I'll do it live tomorrow. I'll have all the cutoff and I'll have all the numbers. That way we'll just do it live at the beginning of the chat tomorrow. So be ready for that. Be ready. I got to tell you, there's something you got to do for it other than just have an entry. Let me see here. I got to pop my chat out. I don't think I did that yet. Hold on. Let me go over here. We got a super chat for. Oops, hold on. Oh, my voice sounds bad. Let me see here. I got to pop my chat out. Hold on. Why am I hearing myself talking? Here we go. Let me get rid of that. My voice sounds horrible. I was losing it there a couple days ago. It's not fading out as bad as it was. Still don't have my sense of smell or taste. which sucks because we're having lasagna tonight, and I don't have not the good lasagna. I'm not making lasagna because, like what I said, I can't smell. I'm not cooking. When I make lasagna, it's fucking awesome, but I got to be able to, smell it and stuff when I'm making it and taste it. Well, lasagna don't taste as much as when I go because I've got that pretty much down. But while I don't feel well, and I think I might have a fever. I feel a little warm today. While I don't feel well, I'm not cooking dinner. So we went to Costco and got some of those pre-made, the cheese ravioli lasagna. Those are fucking good. I mean, if you've had frozen lasagnas and stuff before, those suck. But these pre-made ones from Costco are actually pretty damn good. As is most of the food they make that I get. It's pretty damn good. I'm surprised. Moto Racer Chris says for the pets and the vets and donated to the Pets and Vets Fund and got an entry into the friend drawing, as did Up North, who said for those pets and vets who need it. Also, Iowa Joe. Haven't seen Iowa Joe in a few days. If you have the COVID, I blame Never Enough Ammo. Well, I can't blame Never Enough Ammo because I didn't really make a deal out of it or say anything to anybody about it. But when I got really sick in February, that's the only time I've been really sick this year that I could think of was February. After I came back from SHOT Show, I got bags under my eyes, horrible from where I'm not sleeping. But I didn't think anything of it, but then we ended up going into lockdown and all that other stuff because of COVID. Well, then back in June, I think it was either late June or early July when Kaiser was offering the tests for the nurse, the hospice nurses and family members and stuff. I got tested and we both tested positive for the antibodies. And we were both sick in February. In fact, all four of us were. So I'm like, oh, well, I guess I've already had it. I don't have to worry about getting it. I might have to worry about spreading it because I don't know how we can still, because they don't know if you can still be a carrier even after you've already had it or what. And they don't even know if you can get it again. They think maybe you can get it a second time because the immunity might only last a month or two. And since I had it so early, I haven't been feeling good the last few days, been congested, coughing, have a mild fever, losing my voice, and I've lost my sense of smell and can't taste anything. So we called the doctor and he's like, it could be COVID related. It could just be a bad cold. It could, pneumonia, or because I have a history of walking pneumonia. But I got an appointment for tomorrow. So I've got to edit tomorrow's video tonight because I got to go to the doctor tomorrow. But all that aside, Michael Copeland Jr. donated to the Pets and Vets Fund. Here, let me get something to drink. My voice is getting all like I'm hitting puberty now. About damn time. They say when you hit puberty, not only do you get hairy in places you weren't hairy before, but your naughty bits get bigger. So maybe I am hitting puberty. Let's hope. That's better. Let's see. But that was Michael Copeland Jr. donated to the Pets Vets Fund, got entry in the friend drawing. Now let me go over here and start going through regular questions. You were speaking before you hit record, and we only caught the last bit of what you were saying. That's usually not true. Usually when you go back and you look at it, it's all there, just where you came in at when it went live for you. When your thing kept caught up, you hit the live button, but you had a few seconds of delay. So since that little live light is lit up on your thing, that means whatever was said before you actually caught up, you missed. Any good recommendations for 22 long rifle revolvers? Yeah, my number one would probably be the Rugers. They seem to be the predominant one. They got the single tens or whatever they're called. That's what I would look at first, and then Smith & Wesson after that. And then if you want something like a cowboy one, get yourself the Wranglers from Rugers. What I would recommend. Joe Biden just said that Kyle Rittenhouse belongs to a white supremacist group. Now Kyle's attorney are preparing to sue for defamation. I haven't seen anything about that. Are you running pants or shorts this time around? I'm in shorts. I'm in gym shorts. No reason to wear pants today. Iowa Joe says, been around, but haven't been able to super chat too much. Card company keeps flagging it as fraudulent. They don't like me, I guess. I don't know. I'm on the case. I'm going to catch you. Well, remember, 20 years or so, they get to pick your nursing home. I go to a nursing home, live with them. If I go to a nursing home, they are out of the will. I already told them I'm putting that in the will that if I am in a nursing home when I pass, all my money goes to charity. And I ain't going to have a lot of money, but I'll have assets. I'll have a home and other stuff. And my gun collection and stuff like that, it'll all go to charity. And whoever's home I'm living in, we'll have, if it isn't a agreed upon situation, like they both agreed that I live in this home, if one refused to take me and one takes me, they get everything. So that's how it is. Did you know there are 2 full moons in October 2020, a harvest moon October 1st and blue moon October 31st? Who in the WAP has 2 werewolves in October? Well, I'm hoping everybody has their werewolf round. That's the thing. I'm just hoping everybody gets a good werewolf round. Falling Hammer, did I mention he did one of them pair things? Because he did one of them pair things. One of them sexually suggestive pairs that I have no clue what the relevance to YouTube is. You gotta go up. Excuse me. I want to buy a 586 L comp for my first revolver. Is it worth the $1,100-ish? Yes, it's worth every penny. I didn't pay that much for mine. I think mine was like $980 or something, but still, it's worth every penny. Forged from Freedom donated to the Puppy/Veterans Fund says, after last night's dumpster fire, are we all going to still pretend those 2 are the very best we could have come up with? What is wrong with us as a country? Yeah, I ended up watching a lot of the debate, after the fact last night. And I've got to say, it was a fucking dumpster fire. But I got to say, 80% of the blame lies with Trump, too. It was always Trump that started the interruptions. It was always Trump that was speaking over Biden first. It was always Trump that couldn't control his tendencies. And I started watching it because I was watching the analysis and I heard Rick Santorum, who we all know is an avid Trump supporter. He said that last night, President Trump's inability to control his own worst instincts and his worst impulses has hurt the chance of every Republican. And I'm like, oh, that's not good coming from Rick Santorum. And then the bald guy, who's always very pro-Trump, said that they came across last night as Joe Biden came across as someone who did not have the patience to deal with children, and that Trump came across like an impudent child. And I'm like, oh, that's not good to come from a Trump supporter. Jason Straw, welcome to my WAP. He just joined. Let's see here. Is it preferred to thoroughly lubricate each bullet with your mouth before inserting them into the cylinder? I mean, it's always a good thing to do. I don't know if it's required or not. Since P239 is discontinued, would it be a bad purchase? Is there a used parts market? Yeah, you can get used parts from SIG easy, and they're going to be around for a while. Used parts, I wouldn't worry about it, and you're not going to break really any parts. I know a nurse that has had it twice. She tested positive, then negative, is now positive again. Was very sick, but is getting better. Patreon idea. Link up with Minuteman Ammo, and all patrons 20 or up get early access to ammo 20 minutes before it goes public. I don't think they would be willing to do that for, the 10, 20 people that would affect. It's not like we're bringing in enough people to buy out their ammo. It'd be very few people are in the $20 market range. Could be the accuracy of specific COVID tests. Yeah, some are not very accurate. Have you heard about Charles Daly 1911 pistol made in Italy? $4.99 at Palmetto. Is it made in Italy or is it made in Turkey? I'd make sure of that first. Well, you probably don't care. So no need for you to make sure, but I don't know if it's made in Italy or Turkey. But yeah, I've heard of the Charles Dalys. Yeah. John, welcome to my WAP. I hope you enjoy the WAP. Did Trump just ended his presidency with last night's debate? I wouldn't say that, but I will say one thing. Biden went into it with a lead. And every single analyst I've seen, other than people from like redstate.com and stuff like that, and people from, far left groups like Mother Jones, who, the red state's like, Trump had a great victory last night. And Mother Jones people are like, oh my God, Biden showed why he should be president, blah, blah, blah. But all the like reliable, pollsters and commentators that are, usually pretty reasonable. I didn't find one of them that said Trump won the. I mean, it was ranging anywhere from 52% Biden, 40% Trump, to 62% Biden, 24% Trump for who won the debate. And I didn't see a single commentator who felt that Trump closed the lead. Every one of them felt that basically what the gist of it, what everyone said, and I agree with, is if you were a Trump supporter, you managed to come out of there still a Trump supporter. If you were a Biden supporter, you managed to come out still a Biden supporter. If you were undecided or in the middle, you probably came out thinking better of Biden and less of, or at least less of Trump. So it wasn't good. Let's just say that. It was not good. I don't understand why it's so hard to wait your turn. Wait your fucking turn and then talk. And don't lie. Especially don't break in to lie. So I'm like, the fact check stuff on his things last night were not good. Neither of them were great because Biden got him quite a few, like one Pinocchios too, but Trump got like 4 Pinocchios on like 25 things. I'm like, oh my God, stop the fucking lying. Don't just make up shit to support your opinion. Because like he'll have an opinion and he'll say, well, 17 experts have said that, but no, they didn't. No, they didn't. You just think that. You believe that. Are you saying you had the Rona before it was cool? Damn hipster. I guess I had it, unless I got it and had no symptoms. I mean, I guess it's always possible that I got it like in June or May and just never had any symptoms. But the only time I was really sick was mid-February, towards the end of February, and it just wouldn't go away. I remember being deathly sick for 5 or 6 days, and most people who watch my channel probably remember that. And then I remember being mildly sick for like another week or two afterwards. And you would feel like, I'm better today. Oh, no, I'm not. Oh, I'm better today. Oh, no, I'm not. Do you have any expectations with Ruger taking over Marlin? I don't have any expectations, but I'm anxious to see what they do. Reports this morning say people just didn't watch. Well, actually, know what? That's not what the report said. The report said people watched, but then as the show went on, people tuned out as it became a shit show. Personally, I strongly prefer when Biden is leading in the polls. It motivates some conservatives to vote and makes some Dems relax a bit. I don't think that's happening this time. I think the polls are just representative of who's going to vote now. Because I don't think there is a non-motivated side, period. You missed my question earlier on 520 airworthy Smith & Wesson. What's he mean? 542 airworthy Smith & Wesson. Yeah, Trump was over the top, but Biden never actually answered the questions. He dodged or flat out refused to call all of them, so it was bad for both. Yeah, I mean, that's typical debate, though. I expect that. I expect question dodging and speech making, but the talking over and the interrupting and the name calling and the attacking family members. And I think it takes a set of I would say a set of balls, but it really takes a stupid person, and I'm going to say stupid person for Trump, to go after anybody's family for profiting off their position as a president or vice president when your unqualified daughter and unqualified son-in-law are sitting in the Oval Office, and when your other sons are out profiting like fucking crazy off of your presidency. Your hotels are making money off you. Well, they're bringing in money. They aren't profiting, but they're bringing in money off your presidency. It takes a certain level of hypocrisy to actually even talk about that. No good choices this time. Of course, here's a good thing, though. If we get Amy Coney Barrett on the Supreme Court, and then if that happens, if they get her confirmed, then I really don't care if Trump fucking wins. I don't want Trump as the president any more than I want Biden as the president. I think Trump, this shit about trying to delegitimize elections and making up bullshit about election fraud and lying, even denying what the FBI finds, and choosing to find people like a radiologist to be his head advisor on corona, who is no more qualified than I am to speak on corona. My psychology degree makes me as qualified to speak on corona as his degree in radiology does. He's not an immunologist. Choosing people like that to be your the crackpots, and cozying up to people like Hannity, etc., and having campaign officials actually decide what goes on the CDA and FDA website. That's never happened before. So fuck that bullshit. If we get Amy Coney Barrett on the Supreme Court, which everyone should be pushing for that like fucking crazy because it looks like Trump's probably going to lose anyway, then I don't give a fuck if he loses, because I think our rights will be protected if she's on there. That's probably going to piss off some people, but fuck them. Fuck them too. It's getting to where I'm starting to think more and more people aren't supporting Trump because they love what he does for them. I think that a lot of people are starting to support Trump because they like what he does to people they hate, not what he does for them. They should give them both shot collars. Whoever gets, I'd be all for that. What are you going to do when your grandkids suddenly come in on your chat? Well, my grandkids can do what they want. When I have grandkids, it'll be their call. They can do what they want. Do you know anything about new llama guns? Not the older ones. No, I don't know anything about the newer ones. I haven't even really. I don't. I don't know if I've even seen a new one in the wild. Did you have dairy today? No, I've had no dairy today. I can't have dairy in the mornings. If I have dairy in the mornings, my stomach is crampy all day. I can have dairy at night. And that's about it. Hunter Bagman Biden is so blatantly handling payoff money, it's ridiculous. So I don't really give a fuck. He got some positions because of who he was, but that happens. If you look at every administration that has adult children, that's happened. So I don't really give a fuck about that. Unless you can show Biden was in some way corrupt, which there's been even the investigation the Republicans just did came up and said, yeah, Biden didn't do anything wrong, and we can't prove Hunter Biden did anything wrong. But look, Rick Perry did stuff wrong. Or what's his name? Which one's Perry? Not the singer. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. The one, the ex-governor of Texas, Mr. I bought glasses to make me look smarter and it didn't work. Problem is, if Dems get the White House, they're going to want to nominate and confirm liberal justices to get the majority back. Ain't going to happen. The expansion of the Supreme Court ain't going to happen. I hate to break it to you. Every single constitutional scholar I've seen talk about it saying it ain't going to happen. For one, it would be very difficult to do. And only about 10% of Democrats are even supporting that idea. About 90% don't support the idea. So it ain't going to happen. They'll just have to deal with what they get. I understand your points, but Harris and Biden are both very anti-2A. Plus, Joe said Beto will be his gun guy. I'm a constitutionalist and always vote for the most pro-2A person. Not me. I don't vote for the most pro-2A person. I vote for the most constitutionalist person. And Trump is not pro-Constitution. He's not pro-First Amendment. He likes to break up protests, even peaceful ones. He likes to shout down people who don't agree with him. He likes to use his pulpit as a bully pulpit. He's not in any way anybody I would say a supporter of the Constitution. He doesn't support our election system. He doesn't support our democracy. So he is not the most pro-constitutional. And like I said, if we get Amy Coney Barrett on the Supreme Court, there ain't a chance in hell any anti-gun legislation is going to pass and stay in place. I think some coronavirus colds will cause a positive result on the antibody test. Doesn't mean that they've had. No, that's not true. You're wrong. They're testing for a very specific antibody when they do that. Can't just get the flu and test positive for COVID antibodies. There are antibody tests that are not reliable enough to actually test for the antibodies that will come back positive if you've had other things that are similar. But a good antibody test, like used in medical situations, will not come back unless you've had COVID. Like those ones you can buy and like Joe Rogan uses on his tests. Those are fucking mass-produced garbage from hucksters. You're crazy. If they get a Dem Senate and presidency, it'll be over. What will be over? Tell me what will be over. What gun law will they be able to get past the Supreme Court if Amy Coney Barrett's on there? In fact, if Amy Coney Barrett gets on there, I believe they'll go back to just basically a constitutionalist definition of all gun laws, meaning you can't take things like public safety, et cetera, into account. You just have to go by what the Constitution says, because she has been a very big supporter of that. And I know at least 3 other Supreme Court justices that would be 100% behind her. And then 2 others that we would have to worry about, Kavanaugh and Mr. Chief Justice. Is Bernie Sanders a socialist? No, he's a democratic socialist. There's a difference. Link to the WAP. It's on my videos, I think. And it's in the description on my videos, too. So that was Robert Kennedy getting an entry into the friend drawing by saying link to the WAP. TC adding a Beretta 85BB. Cheated to my Berettas on Friday. Any mods you recommend? Is there a decocker kit? Have Wilson Combat, Centurion, and Comp, LTT 92G, 96A1, and 96G. I don't know of any decocker kits for the cheetahs. So I don't even know if they ever made a G model. They might have, but I don't know if they ever made a G model. But they're nice little guns. I mean, it's 380, so it's not like it's going to be your main carry gun, I don't think. So still, it's awesome fucking gun. That was from TC, by the way, who got an entry into the friend drawing and donated to the Pets and Vets Fund. And he's been watching MSDNC again. No, I haven't. I understand what's going on. And I don't listen to people like Hannity and Tucker Carlson, who their own network says, yeah, you can't listen to them. If you listen to them and you're a reasonable person and you believe them, then that's your fault because you're stupid. That's what Fox News put out as a statement during that defamation lawsuit just a week ago. Because they're like, we know what they say is not true. We fact check it, but they're not our news organization, so we don't care if they're wrong. Gavin Newsom, Governor of California, just signed 4 or 5 new anti-2A bills today. That's why I'm saying. That's why we need Amy Coney on there. Amy Coney Barrett. It's a lot of fucking name to say. Let's just say Barrett. All my peers are scared that Roe v. Wade is going to get overturned. I don't see that happening. Supreme Court are all shysters anyway. They will say whatever the one with the bribe money says. I don't know if I agree with that at all. I don't think people are bribing Supreme Court members. I just think once they get up there, here's the thing. When you have partisans who look at Supreme Court people and they think they're going to be partisan and do everything just like I do. Well, they're not that type of person. They're intelligent, reasonable people who make judgments based on what they held the law and they see it written, and how precedent is set. And so people get mad from both sides when they get up there that they didn't agree with me that life begins at conception, when there's no fucking scientific evidence or legal precedent for that whatsoever. You get pissed off, but that's not justified. If L, the Pets and Vets Fund, got a couple entries into the friend drawing, says, I got nothing, just kicking in for the pets and vets. Bradley Paget, I've heard that name before, but not often. Did you ever get anything back from Smith & Wesson on the cylinder burn issue on the Model 27? I told you they sent me the wrong screw. They were supposed to send me the front sight screw, excuse me, the rear sight front screw that was longer to replace the one I had, but they sent me the goddamn cylinder release screw. And I haven't had a chance to contact them back yet. I need to do that this week. I need to call them again. But that's what's happened. That's where we're at so far. Dale Rickety says, link to WAP. I got nothing. I don't know if there is a link to WAP. I know there's a button that comes up that says join on my videos now, but I don't know if I have an individual link. Hold on. Let me see if there's one in any of my videos. Let me look at the video that went up yesterday, because I didn't get one up today. I just did not feel well enough to do a video today. Yeah, here's the channel join link. Hold on. It's in my videos. Here's the WAP link. I think that someone click that. Tell me if that's the right link. Someone said I got my lights on back here. Yeah, I've been doing videos before I did this video because I just didn't feel like doing anything this morning. I just felt horrible. I couldn't get rolling. I didn't get out of bed till 1 o'clock. So, well, I didn't go to bed till 4 a.m., but still stayed in bed till 1 o'clock. Bradley Paget, I recently acquired a Model 28-2. What year do you think it was made, and what do you think of that gun? I like them. I definitely like them. But to find out the year, there's actually, I think there's a place on the Smith & Wesson forum where you can type in the model number of your gun and the serial number, or just the serial number, and it'll tell you exactly what year it was made. The Falling Hammer says, I've been MIA. What's this WAP thing? WAP, W-A-P. That's Yankees Wild Ass Posse. I don't think we could call it Wet Ass Posse. So that's what the WAP is. It's people who join my channel and they get the little icon after their name when they post on my videos and stuff, so that people know they're a member of the channel. Just like Robert Kennedy just got in my WAP right there. It's the right link. Okay, good. Overall, I think it would be better if Trump gets reelected, because I think he's better equipped to bring back the economy. How? A guy who's lost billions of dollars in his life, never ran a successful business. How do you think he's better equipped to bring back the economy? The only thing he does good that I like is that he's tougher on China. And I'm afraid we can't count on Biden to be tough on China and bring those jobs back here. But any president who's saying he will not respect the election process and who will not denounce white supremacists, not that I'm saying Proud Boys are white supremacists, but just how hard is it to stand on the stage and say, no, I don't agree with white supremacy, period. It's not hard to say. You don't have to make a statement via your spokespeople later so that you don't get seen saying it. Just say it on stage. If you can't, then I'm not voting for you. I wouldn't vote for him anyway, but scientifically speaking, life starts in the balls. Well, yeah, well, that's what you need for. Why don't you do chats with NEA anymore? NEA was here, was it yesterday or the day before? Here recently. We usually only did them together on Thursdays and Sundays. And that's still basically what we do. Like this chat, he's not here because he's getting ready for his chat. Because this is the opening chat for his chat that starts at 6. So he's getting his shit together over there. Dave Glick donated to the Puppy/Veterans Fund, got an entry into the friend drawing, which, by the way, everybody remember, the friend drawing will be tomorrow during the first few minutes of the chat, which will be at 7 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. I'm sitting it late because I got to go to the doctor and do some other stuff tomorrow. So see you there. That's when the drawing will be held. It cuts off tonight. So the only time the way you can get an entry for this month is if you're already been a member of the posse via Patreon. You can't go sign up now because that wouldn't get you until next month. So the only ways you can get an entry now is through Super Chat or through going over to tympistolproject.com, doing a PayPal donation off that website, which will count in the drawing if it's $5 or more. And that'll be up till midnight tonight, but no one does that. No one uses that to donate money. So pretty much it'll be your Super Chat. That'll be the only way to be a member, to get an entry. Can you tell me the difference in 38 Super and 38 Special? Well, 38 Super is considerably more powerful than 38 Special. And 38 Super is a semi-auto round. TTL Seattle is now in my WAP. NEA is moving today. I don't think he's doing his chat tonight. Is that true? Is he not doing his chat tonight? People need to let me know these things. Well, then why did I do this fucking intro chat for him then? I could have been laying in bed right now. Young Gun 995 did a donation to the Pets and Vets program and got an entry into the friend drawing, as did Irish Wristwatch Daddy's looking for a new 1911. Oh, well, there's all kinds of options out there. Your package has been delivered. What got delivered? This scissor stuff sitting on my front porch right now. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know what was in the order. I don't know that I had anything coming. So that's fun. Well, one less person has entered into the friend drawing now because they just added to their Patreon from $7 to $3. $3 is not entered. Let's see here. What am I looking at? Oh, look, why is it sending me? Oh, it's because I've been looking for transfer switches on Amazon. It's sending me links to all kinds of electrical equipment. We got another member for the WAP. Roy Warren has now come into the WAP, jumped in both feet. He's already shown he can handle the economy way better, counting COVID as a joke. Really? How did he? No, he hasn't actually. Everything he says about it being the best government stimulus ever, or government increase is wrong. He's not right. It isn't even close to the highest. In fact, his was 3.1 average growth and Obama's was 3.18. So it isn't the fastest growing economy of all time. In fact, the curve doesn't change much at all. The upward trend from Obama to Trump just continues along pretty much the same cycle until COVID. Actually, it slowed a little bit at one point and then bottomed out because of COVID. So if you're going to say shit like that, back it up with reality. Don't just believe shit he told you from a rally. Because the stuff he says in a rally, let me tell you, it's a lie. Pretty much everything. Just like Mexico's going to pay for the wall and the wall's going to be built in his first term. And, and he's had the greatest economy of all time. And he did more of this than any president ever and blah, blah, blah. None of those claims are true. Not a single one of them. That's just reality. It's not saying whether he's a good or bad choice. It's just saying he lies. Raging Judge Magnum or Raging Bull for $4.50 for Casul, which is the best for the money? Well, are you going to want to shoot 410 stuff? If not, then just get the Raging Bull. I would get the Ruger Super Red Hawk Alaska is what I would get. But between those two, if you're not going to want to be able to shoot 410 on it, then just get the Raging Bull. Robert Kennedy donated once again to the Pets and Vets Fund. It says, for the Pets and Vets and the Yankees' health as well as his family. Nobody else is sick, just me right now. Honey on cornbread or just butter? I like honey butter. I like not put them on separately. I like honey butter. Butter that's been infused with honey, and then put that on cornbread. And I want it to be sweet cornbread. I don't like that salty cornbread shit that some people, like Cajun people, like. I can't help it that your ancestors were too poor and stupid to get sugar and honey, but salty fucking cornbread is gross. He claimed to pass the Veterans Choice Act when it was signed by Obama. Yes, he says he takes credit for that at every fucking rally. I sponsored and passed the Veteran Support Act, which was one of the best things for you. No, you weren't even in any political office when that was passed and signed. I'm like, good God, how many? I bet if you polled his fans of who passed the Veterans Care Act, they'd be like, Trump, 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 Trump. They're like the seagulls from fucking Finding Nemo. Trump, 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 Trump. 8 years Biden, average household income gain $1,100. The first 3 years under Trump, average household gain $8,600, $900. Once again, that's a false statistic. It's based on people entering the job force again when they were not. So they're taking a lot of people who numbers they didn't used to count and counting it now. The accounting office changed how they did the stuff, just like how they change a lot of things under different presidents. So no, and name me someone you think actually got a $9,000 increase in their wages. Who do you know that was working as a cashier at a restaurant or a grocery store or a nurse even, or anyone that got a $9,000 raise during the last few years? It ain't happening. One of the things they count as median family incomes is people who make like $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, $750,000 a year. And yeah, people who make $750,000 a year got big increases in their income. People who make $25,000 a year did not get that size of an increase in their income. Once again, you're being misled by misleading statistics without doing any research, because all you have to do is do research in median income and then see the breakout by income bracket, and you'll see it's not true. And you also have to see how many of it is based on people returning to the workforce who, especially one of the big numbers is people who were retired that returned to the workforce and started getting a full-time paycheck again. Start doing a little research and read the numbers. You're just quoting quips that you have no understanding of. What are you, 12? Super King Bender says, Yankee, how long do you think it will take to get a definite winner to the presidential election? I think weeks or months. I say 2 weeks. 2 weeks at the most, I would say. Because most of the shit you're hearing ain't true. CNUM 1969, 38 special greater than 38 super, way more variety of ammo in 38 special. Well, yeah, you got more variety of ammo, but ballistically, the 38 super is better. And that was Super King Bender that donated and got an entry from that last question about the presidential race, how long we think will take. And that was CNUM 1969 who donated and got an entry in the friend drawing, who asked that question I just asked, or that statement about 38 special. Monk Fisher, Trump's unemployment went down 0.2% from when Obama was president, went from 3.4 to 3.2, which followed the downward arc and then went to shit. Yeah, it was just following the same arc. That's like saying if the arc for gun violence is doing this from 1990 to 2000, and then right here they pass the assault weapons ban, and crime still continues to decrease at the same rate. Was it because they passed the assault weapons ban, or did that have nothing to do with it? It had nothing to do with it. You're just continuing an already existing trend. Defend 2A, have you ever made hush puppies? No, because I don't like hush puppies. I never liked hush puppies. They're that salty fucking cornbread, and I don't like it. Whenever we go to Long John Silver's, my son eats my hush puppies because I don't like it. Some folks at Walmart, Target, depending on where, went from a $10 an hour to $15 an hour. That's over a $10,000 raise. Yeah, but that wasn't because of Trump. That's because of Democrat-led cities who passed raises in minimum wage. Got nothing to do with Trump or any of his policies or any Republican policy. The Republicans fought minimum wage increases like crazy. So cities like Seattle and Spokane and places in Florida and some places in the Northeast that went to $15 an hour minimum wages, that had nothing to do with Trump. But it did help affect the numbers, and they love to take credit for that when it's nothing to do with them. Did Trump command the room last night the way a president should? And did Biden demonstrate that he is clearly unprepared to lead on the world stage? Well, I don't know what Biden would have done that showed he's unprepared to lead, because most leaders aren't going to act like that, like Trump did. He acted like he just doesn't have the patience. Like the one commentator said, he looked like a person who doesn't have patience to deal with children, and Trump acted like an impudent child. Why do the Chinese tend to get butthurt more often? And of course, American corporations bend over to please them. Well, for one, it's because China is a dictatorship. I know they call their guy the president, but it's a dictatorship. He's president for life. It's a communist dictatorship. And if people see things that go contrary to the message they're being sold by their leaders, that's not good. And they don't allow that. So that's why they have such strict demands on what's in movies and what's not, and blah, blah, blah. And they got over 1 billion fucking people buying DVDs, watching movies, and etc. So Hollywood is all concerned about money, money, money. So they don't give a fuck about bending down to a communist party if it makes them money. That's why you shouldn't look to business people to be your leaders, like Trump. If it meant making money, it's what he cares about. Trump with a Smith & Wesson J-frame, a football field across from Biden with a double-barrel shotgun. Who shoots first and who dies first? Trump's going to die because that shotgun is going to be more effective across that field than that J-frame, and easier to shoot accurately. Timothy Mouse says, where do you buy a phase plasma rifle with 40-watt range? I think in the year 2055. I think that's where we buy those. And he also got a entry into the friend drawing and made a donation to the Pets and Vets program. Timothy Mouse did. Did you get a chance to look at your email? No, I haven't done anything last couple. Like I say, I haven't felt well. I'm just, as soon as I leave here, I go in, sit on the couch, and then go to bed. And then when I get up, I come out here, start working. And then when I'm done, I go back in, sit on the couch until I go to bed. What is Roe versus Wade? That's the decision that gave women the right to choose whether they get an abortion or not, basically. Nickel boron or titanium nitride, BCG. I'm going to say titanium nitride. Gold titanium nitride. Are you saying it would be better to vote for Biden now than Trump? Nope. I'm saying I wouldn't vote for either one of them. And I don't care which one of them wins if we get Amy Coney Barrett. That's what I said. Because if we get Amy Coney Barrett, I feel the Second Amendment will be safe. So I think everyone right now should be putting their energy into making sure Amy Coney Barrett gets confirmed. And then I'm going to be like, I'm voting third party, and I don't give a fuck who wins, because I don't like either of you jackasses. My mom did, as a matter of fact. No, they fucking didn't. Unless they work in a place where minimum wage went from like $10 to $15, they did not. Unless they changed jobs or graduate school, you're full of fucking shit. Born to be a shooter, Josh. I think you're just born to be a fucking shit, a mark for for President Trump, because you don't understand anything you're talking about. People ahead of you and behind you have already posted actual statistics and actual numbers, which you don't seem to understand, and pointed out things like the major increases in income in the country have been from increases in minimum wage. When did Trump support increasing minimum wage? I don't remember him doing that. I remember him saying he was going to bring back the coal mine jobs. They didn't do that. I remember him saying he was going to stop Carrier from laying people off. He didn't do that. I remember him saying he was going to bring all them jobs in from Apple. into that factory from China. That never happened after we gave him tons of money. I heard him say he was going to keep all those people from being laid off from the automotive plants. That didn't happen, even after we gave him $60 million to not lay people off. They still laid them off. They just lost the lawsuit, so they have to pay back $28 million of it. But yeah, so when did he suggest raising the minimum wage? I don't know when that happened. Just saw it on Yahoo. Cardi B is trademarking WAP. Just a heads up. Well, she can trademark whatever she wants, but see her come after me and sue me. In fact, I hope she does. Good Lord, I would love for her to be like, I'm suing the Yankee Marshal because I would love that. Good God. Let's see here. Where am I? I say it's better he wins again so he won't be able to run in the future. He'll never run again in the future anyway if he loses. If he loses this term, he's degrading so quickly. If you look at him from when he became president, look at him now, 4 years from now, he'll be a doddering old idiot in a wheelchair. Well, which is what Biden will probably be too at the end of his term if he wins. So I don't know anybody out there who agrees with me or not, but I will say this. I'll go on record right now saying if Biden wins, he does not run for a second term. It'll be Kamala Harris running for his term next time. I will go on record saying that, but I hope that by then, I hope the Republican Party gets their shit together and they can put forward a constitutional candidate who is not right or left, who could actually stomp the shit out of such a partisan person like Kamala Harris. So if Biden does win, I think we will only get 4 years of Biden, period. And if the Republican Party can get their act to fucking together, we can take it back in 4 years. Well, not we, because I'm not a Republican, but the Republicans can take it back in 4 years. That would be awesome. Yankee, you need to stop making sense. Well, it does offend some people. Some people do not like it when you contradict their beliefs with facts. And I'm not even making a value judgment of like, this person's a better person because he did this or that person. I'm just saying the things he says are true are not true, period. And there's no backup for it. Just like if Biden says something false, I'll say, what a fucking moron. And Biden's sneakier, though. Biden doesn't just outright lie. Trump just outright lies because he knows his base will suck it up. And they won't pay any attention to whatsoever when he gets corrected. Biden has to lie in a more sneaky way because the left is very easy to quickly turn on themselves. If he says something about the environment that the far lefties don't like, they'll turn on him. So he has to lie in very subtle ways. Alex Campbell, I've seen him in a few days, says, evening, Yankee. I haven't made a chat lately. Well, right there, haven't made a chat lately. For the pets and vets, picked up my friend gun. Thanks again. Did Savage Sharpshooter win September Friends gun? This is September. We haven't done September's friend gun yet. Let me see here. Friend winner. September. We don't have a September yet. Karen Woodson won the special September drawing. You were August. And Raw Feeding 101 was July. Savage Sharpshooter has not won one. Don't jinx him. Scene Cilantro says, hey, Yankee, thoughts on dissonance theory and group polarization in relation to the entrenchment we see with this crap on social media. All you have to understand to know what's going on is just understand tribalism. You don't need fancy studies or theories. You don't need fancy anything. You just have to study a human evolution and understand the actual phenomenon of tribalism. That's all you have to understand. And then you have to understand the psychologically motivating factors of fear and anger, because both sides now, they're not motivated by what they want to see done. They're motivated by what they fear someone else will do. They're not motivated by who they like. They're motivated by who they hate. They're not motivated by if someone does likes the same things they like. They care more that they hate the same things they hate. And that's all you need to understand. And there's so many people that are angry and disenfranchised, and and I'm not saying this in any way to demean black people. Black people, I have been an ally. Oops, I hit my microphone. I have been an ally to black people my entire life. At least I've tried to be. I try to be fair and honest with any black person and treat them. And I think the best way to be an ally of black people is to treat them like anyone else. And if like someone who's black does something fucking stupid, call them fucking stupid. So I've always tried to be to treat people the same, no matter the color of their skin. But this whole notion that all white people are somehow privileged and only black people have to struggle, when that is shoved down the throats of so many fucking poor, disenfranchised white people in this country, they feel like they're being told, well, the reason you're a failure is because you're just a fucking failure. And the reason I'm a failure is because you wouldn't let me succeed. And that's not true. Most poor white people don't give two shits if black people succeed, as long as they have the same opportunities. And they're angry because they were cut out of the American dream long ago. Back when coal mines were getting the government to come in and shoot anybody that demanded fair pay and all that other stuff, it's been happening for generations and generations, where certain working class whites have been degraded to a third class citizen. And there are people still living in that life right now that have been affected by that life because decades and decades of their family members never had a chance to succeed, or generations and generations of their family members never had a chance to succeed, never had a chance to build any type of nest egg or success, never had the chance to get any type of education, which would lead to their children getting an education. And when you're constantly have it shoved down your throat that only black people are repressed or only minorities are repressed, and you're one of there's more white people being repressed than black people because there's way more white people. That doesn't mean we're repressed at the same rate. There are advantages to being white. I was born poor white trash, and I was able to be successful partially because when I went to apply for something or was asking someone to give me the benefit of the doubt, I was at the time a young, attractive white person asking for that chance, which meant it was far more likely I was going to get that chance. So I'm not saying that doesn't exist, but I'm saying there are so many people out there that were disenfranchised, downtrodden, and have not been allowed to succeed because of billionaires making rules that made sure that they kept all the money and no one else had a chance to climb. So it gets frustrating to people that are also disenfranchised to be told, "Oh, you're the problem. You're the reason black people can't get ahead." No, I'm not. I'm not repressing black people. My family was repressed itself. There is a system that doesn't like black people, and there is a holdover of all the old racist shit from the 60s, etc. But there's also just, the powers that be that don't like a minority voting bloc coming up, so there's a lot of reasons black people are repressed, but it isn't most poor white people. But then the white people get mad at the black people for saying that, and then it looks like they're the reason. So if we would deal with people who are disenfranchised and don't have the same opportunities as everybody else in this country, and stop deciding whether should be based on color, I think we would go make great strides towards having a better democracy and a better country. Let's see here. Familiar with the Battle of Blair Mountain, Matwan Massacre, Bonus Army? Yes, I'm familiar with this topic. No, that's some of the stuff. That's West Virginia lore right there. The poor white man being held down by the man and all that stuff. Let's see here. Where was I? I got on a rant and lost my place. So I got to go over here and see if I've missed any super chats. Hold on. How do I cancel this? Cancel that. Go to supers. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Nick Johnson donated to the Peppy /Vets Fund. Got a couple entries into the friend drawing. Says, thanks for the political takes without all the fear mongering. Also, you're wrong. The FN57 is the most bestest, needlessly expensive handgun of all time. Which one did I say? I thought 5.7 is one of the ones I've said I don't like. But I've said stuff about so many guns, I don't remember. What was the other one I just really don't like at all? I don't remember what it was. Wesley Garland says, howdy from East Tennessee. I'm surprised he could spell Tennessee if he's from East Tennessee. I spell check. I'm betting it was spell check. And I read that one, so I'm caught up. Let's see here. I got another super chat coming in from Crux2112, who's donating to the Pets and Vets Fund and getting an entry into the friend drawing. For the pups, couldn't have agreed more. With pups or with what I was saying about disenfranchisement, which was an unsolicited political rant, but that's how I feel. And like I say, so many people will twist that into being, well, you're anti-black. You're denying that they've been held down. You're denying racism. I'm not denying racism. I saw racism firsthand. I'm fucking old. You know, early 70s, I was in our Alabama and saw the plaques still on the fucking water fountains that said whites only, that they had just painted over with paint. So you don't tell me about racism. I've seen it firsthand, and I've seen that it is nowhere near what it used to be. In my hometown, when I was a little kid, a guy was found beat to death and drowned in the river, and they labeled it a drowning, even though his hands were tied together, because he had the nerve to date a white girl in town. And this was when I was like 3 years old. So this wasn't like it was 1920. So it ain't like that anymore most places. And that was not uncommon. When I was a kid, when I was 17, 18 years old, it was safe to assume that your friend's parents were huge racists. It was very safe to assume that. My dad and grandparents were huge racists. A lot of my family still is racist. My youngest sister is still a huge racist. I felt like writing her a note the other day saying, listen, you can do better. I know you were fucking raised by racists, but sharing a picture online of a black mare with her lips all distorted out to where they're great and big and she looks like a monster, you can do better than that. Just because you were raised by racists doesn't mean you have to be one. But, you know, so I'm not that person. I'm not denying racism. I'm just saying you're not the only people suffering. It's like white supremacy. People like to wonder why white supremacists are white supremacists. Well, it isn't because these are genetic scholars or anything like that, or geneticists. They're just people that are so angry and so full of hate and fear, mostly fear, which generates the hate. They feel they'll never have anything. They'll never have a piece of the pie. They'll never have power. They'll never have any political voice. And they see this whole black people are the ones that are only ones that are discriminated against. And they get mad, and that's one of the founding structure. That's part of the founding structure of racism, that anger and that fear, and they just live shit fucking lives because they have no opportunities. And if you take those people, and it's been shown time and time and time again that if you greet that type of fear and hatefulness with compassion instead of an opportunity, you have people that are, I used to be a white supremacist. Now I'm not. I used to believe these horrible things. Now I don't. You see that all the time. These people aren't broken. They aren't worthless. They're angry and they're afraid and they're disenfranchised. And if we could do something about that, we'd have far less of them. And there ain't a whole lot of them now, but still, we'd have less. For the Pets and the Vets, all the way from Laredo, Texas. Now that I know was spell check. And he got an entry into the friend drawing, donated to the Puppy/Veterans Fund. Biden resigns 18 months in due to health reasons. Harris takes over. I don't see that happening. That would be way too soon. Maybe 3 years in, but not 18 months. Sean Cilantro says, I wasn't talking race lines. I was referring to the polarization of justification that is fostered by social media. It all still is related to what I was talking about. There isn't any huge psychological differences between people on the right, people on the left. There isn't any huge dissidence between people that believe one thing and believe another thing. There isn't a huge difference between what the media does, and what newspapers used to do, etc. It's all about people being motivated by fear and hate and divided by things that really shouldn't divide them. That's all it's all about. It's got nothing to do with race. Like I said, it doesn't matter what your race is. It's still the same mechanism. What you just said made a lot of sense to me. I'm glad it did to you, because I lost myself about halfway through. I think a vote for Biden is a vote for Harris. He's looking like a lame duck as it is. Yeah, I mean, surely she'll be the one running in the second election at the very least. But like I say, could she win on her own? Do you think, even if she's a vice president, do you think she could win? Even if she became president 2 years into Biden's term, and she was the first female president, first part black female president even, do you think she would get a second term based on her record? I don't think she would, if the Republican Party can get their shit together. If not, then maybe she could. But if they put together anyone decent, like if they found a good, a middle of the road, constitutional, kind of with some libertarian leanings and some a good environmental record, etc., to run, a female especially, I think they would kill Harris. You deserve to own WAP more than Cardi B does. Yeah, fuck Cardi B. I dare her to say anything about me having the WAP. No need to pack the court. Dems could simply impeach and remove Gorsuch and Kavanaugh. I don't think they would be able to remove Gorsuch. He has not done anything that would be impeachable. So I don't think they would ever get that through. And I don't think the Supreme Court would even allow that to stand, because that would clearly be politically motivated. Kavanaugh, I could see being impeached, but not Gorsuch. And hell, I wouldn't mind seeing Kavanaugh replaced with somebody. Here's the thing, especially if the Senate stays Republican and they had to replace Kavanaugh, I think we would get someone way better, because the Republicans would have to, or the Democrats would have to find someone that the Republicans would vote on. And I think we would end up with a much better moderate constitutionalist judge rather than a corporatist like we have now. Wait, it's past Never Enough Ammo's chat. Is Never Enough Ammo's chat up? Someone let me know if his chat is up. Bosco Neptune says, deep down, they must know their views are wrong. Do you think their anti-abortion views are some kind redemption? Hope that made sense. Deep down, they must know their views are wrong. I don't know what you're talking about specifically, but white supremacists and stuff, I don't think that deep down they do know they're wrong. I think that they're constantly being fed a barrage of information that confirms their bias. They don't have the energy or the desire to find any other information. They are locked into their cycle of, it's that YOLO crap. Well, life fucking sucks and you're going to die anyway, so we might as well do whatever the fuck we want. Fuck their consequences. They're so locked into that they don't have room for growth or time or the energy to put effort into growth. So I think they need help. Not, I'm talking opportunity, is what they need. Scene Caliento, cilantro, whatever. I don't disagree. Just wanted to hear your opinion as an internet expert on mental health professional on the impact of the influence of social media on society. Well, social media is just a symptom of the problem. Social media is just a mouthpiece for politicians. They're always either mouthing one side or the other of the political argument. When was the last time the news was about the news? It's all about politics nowadays. So it's basically the same people who used to read the newspaper and see this shit, or used to, follow politics. But now politics are a part of everybody's lives. Well, not everybody, because, only about 10% of the population actually watches like Fox News or CNN, whatever. So we are people who pay attention, but a lot of people just still don't even pay attention now. They don't have that big of an effect. So it's just, like I said, it's just a megaphone for politicians who just feed on the same things that they have before. And now that social media is more prevalent, I think the problem with social media is that there's too much opportunity for misinformation and too little desire for people to look up things and see if they actually bear out, what they want them to mean, what they actually mean, what they want them to mean. And that was from Scene Cilantro, who donated once again to the Pets and Vets Fund. Got more entries into the friend drawing. Let's see here. Where were we? I'm going to have to go back down and pan my way up. Let's see here. Never enough ammo chat not up. Okay, good. That means we don't have to stop right now then. Are you not going to answer my question? I asked it 4 times. I've been busy with super chats, so take your chances. Robert Kennedy, I'm all 2A, but to a certain extent. I've been around 2 coworkers who have stated that they should be allowed to buy tanks. I think people should be allowed to buy tanks. If I want to buy a tank, I should be allowed to buy a tank. And then if I do anything illegal with that tank, I should be held fully responsible. But I think that anything that any individual in the military service can operate as an individual should also be available to me as a citizen. I should be able to buy a howitzer. That doesn't mean I'm going to commit a crime with it, but I should be able to buy it. If I commit a crime with it, well, then I could commit crimes with other things that I can get easily, like household chemicals. Just having a howitzer doesn't make me more likely to blow up a school or anything. So I actually do believe people should be able to buy anything that an individual soldier can possess and operate. So should an American citizen be able to possess and operate. Now you've gone too far. What did I go too far about now? No NEA chat. Good. Yeah, so what somebody else said. So by creating no words like cracker ass cracker, they simply come up with another slur. Thanks to them, we now have 15 ways to say whitey. I should be grandfathered into older slurs. What slurs do affect us? It's not slurs aren't based on, they don't have their power based on, someone made up a clever slur. No, they have to have some sort of historical imbalance related to them. Like when white people completely subjugated the Chinese and called them Chinamans and yellow skins and things like that. That has a historical context towards domination and subjugation. Whitey doesn't have that, So it's just making up a clever name like cracker. Someone called me a cracker. I'm like, so your ancestors weren't beating my grandfather with a whip because he was a cracker. So 4 years of Biden trying to push stuff but failing and probably using illegal means of crushing the gun industry like Obama with Operation Choke Point. I don't think that would hold up under Amy Coney Barrett. So I don't know what did Operation Choke Point do? What actual effect on gun laws did it have? God damn it. Fly, get out of here. Let me see here. Let me check, make sure I haven't missed anything. Ouch. Many people can get parts of a big Robotech that they can assemble together to fight each other. Case to fight the government, you only need balls. What? Does he think that like Shogun Warriors are real? Like what's that big one? Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, things like that. Why is the word Jew a description and a slur at the same time? Because of the way it was used historically as a negative connotation, but they still claim it as the name of their religion. So, and it's also negative when you say someone is a Jew or they are Jewish. You're just denoting their faith. But if you say they're a fucking Jew or the Jews do this, well, then you're using it as a negative connotation, and that has been historically very hurtful and very. You remember concentration camps, so that's why. It's all about intent and the historical context of the word and how you use it. I've been told because I'm a no compromise 2A, I'm the reason we lose more gun rights because we don't compromise. Yeah, the reason you lose gun rights is because you don't give up your gun rights. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Why an individual soldier? The 2A is about militias because it's made up of individual soldiers. And that's why I believe anything that requires multiple person application, like meaning multiple people have to agree, well, then that should not be put in the hands of one person. Even the president doesn't have that power. Even the president can't just say, launch nukes at Germany, because there's a lot of people in that chain that would have to agree, turn their keys and push their buttons, and they would also seek other guidance. So I don't believe that any one person should have that type of destructive capability. But any single soldier can operate, like a MPG or tank or anything like that. Yeah, we should be allowed to have. In fact, when things like MRAPs and other special military vehicles are put into a community for the police to use, they shouldn't go to the police. They should go to deputized members of the community who, when it's needed, can bring that item to the police. Because they don't need it 99.9% of the time, but they'll use it 99% of the time to justify having it. And that's why I don't like them having it. Standing army was not the intent of the founders. Well, that's fine, but we can't go to the ridiculous argument that we shouldn't have a standing army. If we didn't, we wouldn't be here. Because back in that day, India couldn't destroy us from India. They can destroy us from India now. If we didn't have a standing army, we'd be fucked. Because without a standing military, you couldn't have a nuclear program. It just wouldn't happen. You couldn't monitor situations in foreign countries. Wouldn't happen. G.I. Joel. I'm panning up to see if I've missed any questions. Republicans have tried running constitutionalists for presidents, but the liar in chief still won. What constitutionalists did they run? Don't say Ted Cruz, because he's not a constitutionalist. He's a partisan. Rand Paul's a partisan. They might have some libertarian leanings, but they're still very partisan. A constitutionalist would have never agreed to not vote on Merrick Garland, and then said later that, yeah, we're going to, those are hypocrites and those are partisan people. I just found out you're getting a COVID upchuck. Check with the wifey about the value of vitamin D to boost the immune system. I'm taking vitamin D, vitamin C. Gorsuch was appointed unconstitutionally. No, it was constitutional. The way it happened was constitutional. You can say Merrick was unconstitutionally denied a vote, but you can't say Gorsuch was appointed unconstitutionally. It was totally constitutional the way he was appointed and elected, and selected. But you could make the argument that Merrick was unconstitutionally denied, but that should have no bearing on Gorsuch. I have patients and their caregiver voted for Joe Jorgensen. I thought I was alone. They sent their ballots already. Yeah, I'm voting Joe Jorgensen. The Republicans only support extremely conservative politicians. Well, there's a reason for that, because they cater to their base, just like the left tends to cater to their base. And the base on the right is very religious, for one, which I don't know why they keep catering to the religious base, because it's shrinking and shrinking, and very conservative. If you look at the numbers of who votes for who, I know they love to always say college educated whites vote this way and non-college educated whites vote this way. What they're basically saying is educated people who make a decent living and, you know, actually get a part of the American dream tend to vote one way. And people who are struggling to get by, don't get any of the advantages other people get, don't, you know, they make just a little bit too much money to get any of the tax breaks or the special kickbacks, but they don't make enough money to pay their bills every month. Those people vote another way. And that isn't an ideological difference. That isn't what that's based on. It isn't based on a political ideology. It's based on the system doesn't fucking work for me. So I don't, you know, and that's what their opinions are more based on. Ted Cruz was born in Canada and had dual citizenship till 2015. Because with RPGs, it teeter on the point of being hard pressed to justify it use self-defense. The Second Amendment is not about self-defense or hunting. Nowhere in there does it say self-defense or hunting. I'm not coming to install your generator plug if you keep coughing like that. LA Lakers versus Miami Heat. Who you got? Who gives a fuck? I can't think of anything in the world less important that people pay attention to than professional sports. Anyone who spends a lot of time following professional sports, I'm like, you got time to do something more beneficial. Wouldn't the Secretary of Defense get involved in regards to the president launching nuclear weapons at other countries? There's a whole chain of people that are involved, and there's a bunch of keys that need to be turned, and not by one person. There's a reason why those keys are across the room from each other. Those consoles, I should say. Cops think 2A should only apply to them. Yes, a lot of them do think that. That's a very prevalent opinion in the police community, law enforcement community. And even the ones that say, oh, no, I'm a big supporter of gun rights. I've had them on my fucking chat, and all it takes is like 4 questions to get them to the point where you realize, no, they're not all about the Second Amendment at all. They're just saying that because they think it makes them sound better. What color Power Ranger are you? Well, I'd want to be the Green Ranger, I think. Do you think the police should be demilitarized? Yes, because they're not a military force. Just the very fact that they're law enforcement and not military means they shouldn't be militarized. I can build an M3 grease gun in a day if I have the barrel. I have the experience, and it takes common metal shop equipment. What's like people building AKs out of shovels? Righties can think. It's just that their ideas are 100 years or more behind the times. I wouldn't know if I'd say 100 years, but I don't think most people on the right think that women shouldn't be allowed to speak in public and should be able to be put in the stocks if they disobey their husband or anything like that. Is Karen becoming a slur against white folk? No, it's becoming a slur against a certain type of person. Just like fucktard is. Which I prefer calling them fucktards myself. Racist fucktards. Actually, I don't even know if racism is the main factor. It's entitled fucktards. Will COVID go away after the election? No. You're not scared of what ACB might do if the election ends up in the courts? I don't see the election ended up in the Supreme Court. I don't think it's going to be that close. I think there's going to be more than 2 points dividing them. Will you do a more in-depth video about police shifting the burden of risk to citizens? Maybe. If I get around to it and if I start feeling a little better. Robert Kennedy, police departments to protect and serve. Robert Kennedy. When did that stop? Stopped decades ago, but police have been making a concentrated effort to shift the burden of risk from themselves to the citizens, and they've been doing so legally by saying, what they're immune from. If they get it wrong and kill innocent people, well, it's not their fault. They're immune from that. It's the citizens' fault for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Also, just stuff like no-knock warrants. If you look at the justification for no-knock warrants, the primary justification is to protect the safety of the officers. And that's supposed to be a risky fucking job. So I don't like no-knock warrants, things like that. Oh, I wanted to look something up real quick. Oops. Yeah, I was just looking at the Kentucky Attorney General said 2 days ago, today I'm going to release the grand jury testimony because I've been ordered to by the court. And then he said, well, I'll do it tomorrow, which was yesterday. And now apparently said he's not releasing it, and he's been given till Friday to release it by the courts. So what the fuck is he hiding with the grand jury testimony? It sure looks like Daniel Cameron lied about Breonna Taylor's killing. Yeah, it sure does look like that, doesn't it? The grand jury concluded that he had no self-defense claim, but that he could not be charged with murder because he did not strike Miss Taylor. He was charged with 3 felony counts of wanton endangerment. That's the old reporting, but case sought in release of Jan. That's 8 hours ago. Where's the most recent one? Here's the most recent one. Kentucky Attorney General given until Friday to release grand jury recordings in Breonna Taylor case. Yeah, he said he was going to do it yesterday. So where the fuck is it? He said for 2 days he was going to release it, and I haven't done either one of them. I think he's just saying that, hoping that they'll get some sort of injunction to not release it. The judge ruled on the motion today and granted an extension. I guess they asked for an extension. They got an extension, but only till Friday. Why are they stalling? What ducks are they trying to get into a row to back up their lies before they release this? Well, I tell you, I don't like fucking secret grand juries. John Mandrick says NEA Yankee 2020. Which one gets to be? Well, you put him at the top of the ticket. I'm older than fucking him. Why wouldn't I be at the top of the ticket? When DT and JB talked taxes in the debate, I couldn't make an opinion because I didn't start working in the military and my current job until Trump was president. Well, Trump signed that veterans bill for you. He sponsored and signed that bill that Obama signed. Qualified immunity for law enforcement from Robert Kennedy. No, I don't agree with that at all. And I actually was looking into Amy Coney Barrett's record on qualified immunity, and she's gone both ways. She said that sometimes in the commission of an act, police officers are immune from prosecution because they didn't do anything malicious or illegal. And then other times she said, hey, they lied on a warrant request. So, yeah, they are subject to legal prosecution because they lied. They actually did something wrong. So I was okay with the way she ruled in those things. Jay Rudell, because that's why a lot of people think, well, if you're anti-qualified immunity, you think cops should get prosecuted for every little thing they do. No, only when they commit a crime or do something wrong or something severely negligent or malicious, like lying on a warrant. And then you saw their claim that they didn't know it was illegal to lie on warrant requests. Like, what cop doesn't know it's illegal to falsify a document? And I'm not kidding. That was their actual defense, that they did not know it was illegal to falsify documents for a warrant. And Ray Rudelius says Yankee for president. See, at least he put me at the top of the ticket. The Veterans Choice Act was signed by Trump in blackface. He was also a lot thinner and younger when he did it. Which do you think is worse, qualified immunity or red flag laws? I think they're both bad. I don't think there's a level of, and they're both misused by the same people, police. Both of those laws benefit police officers, and that's all they benefit. Police officers and the politicians they serve. I agree. A former law enforcement officer, says Robert Kennedy. Jurists claim they were only offered to charge the one officer. DA never offered any charge for the other two officers. And I don't believe they offered an appropriate charge for the one officer, and they didn't present appropriate evidence for why he should be charged. Like I told you, a lot of times in the grand jury, when you find out years later what evidence they were presented, you could have a stack of evidence this tall that you could have pictures of the guy shooting someone. And then the grand jury, if the DA doesn't want to prosecute them, the jury will see none of that. None. But yet they'll bring in 50 character witnesses to speak on their behalf. And that's all they see. So fuck secret grand juries. Up the ass. John Mandrick says, vice president is the easy job. Let NAA do all the work. Well, no, NAA can do all the work as vice president, like Cheney did. I'll just be a George Bush type president. I'll just go up there and say, golly gee shucks, and then let him do all the work. I've heard that cop, C4 Defense, that you had on your chat say that you were a cop for about 15 minutes because you were ran off the force on other people's chats. Well, he's an idiot. He doesn't, and he bases that knowledge on what? What did he say were his supporting documents or information or sources? Did he speak to someone I served with? No, I don't think he did. I think he's just full of shit, and I exposed him as an anti-2A shill that he is, and he don't like that. Because he came on my chat face to face and we conversed with each other, and he came out the loser big time because he, one, wasn't smart enough to defend his position, and two, was lying. So he's just not a very reliable person. He's like a lot of bad cops. He's a fucking bad cop. He's the kind of cop we're talking about when we talk about lying piece of shit cops. Obama is more 2A than Trump is because Obama gave us the right to carry a national force. Well, that's at least one thing they did. Trump didn't do fucking shit. In fact, Trump was saying, hey, we just need the laws that are, we'll take the guns away first and give them due process later. He said he'd sign shit like that. So that's, and yet he's pro 2A. Come on, people, wake up. When you got a guy who's saying, oh, we punish people first, and then we find out if they actually broke the law, and elections don't count unless they go the way we want them to, and anything you hear from the media is fake unless I verify. That's not a president. That's a fucking dictator. Are you willing to take up arms against the Proud Boys if Trump gives them the go-ahead? If they try to circumvent the Constitution, yes, I would shoot a Proud Boy in the fucking face. Wouldn't care one bit about it. I don't support the Proud Boys in any way. I'm not going to say they're all bad people or they're all racist. I think it falls along the same lines as what I was talking about earlier. But if you actively take up arms against a legally elected president, whether no matter what side they're on, or you take up arms against the system that you just didn't like because it didn't go your way, well then yeah, you're a traitor and I'll shoot you in the fucking face. Wouldn't have one bit of problem with it. Although I don't think Proud Boys going to do much of anything, because when the Proud Boys found out they were going to be outnumbered here in Portland, when they were going to do their rally with the 10,000 people and about 200 plus some other onlookers showed up. There was like 1,000 people total at the whole gathering, and about 700 of them were anti-protest, were people just watching and media. So they estimated that the actual Proud Boy group was only about 200 people. When they found out they were going to be so greatly outnumbered, they chose to move their rally to an off-site park where they weren't anywhere near the protesters. So I think that tells you a lot about their bravery. So I don't really think they're going to rise up. They're like the same people who talk big game. The rights of the people outweigh the cops' safety. I agree 100%. Where am I? You know, to go down to the bottom, work way up again. Any word on who gets Remington's brand? Also, is my son riding his bike or his four-wheeler? He's riding his bike. Which he should be. I've been trying to encourage you, don't ride the four-wheeler, ride your motorcycle. You need more time on the motorcycle. And since they're both four-stroke, they sound about the same. Or they moved it because they didn't want to have any fight start. No, they didn't move it until they found out that there had so few people showing up. When they thought they were going to be the outnumbering force, they wanted to start fights. That was their goal. So you don't make up stuff for the Proud Boys, because it ain't going to hold water. Any word on who gets Remington brand? I'm also excited to see what Ruger does with Marlin. I'm excited to see that too, but I don't know anything about the Remington the Remington brand. Grand juries that composed of two cop spouses, two retired cops, and a couple of county clerks should be illegal. They're not. They're not at all. One time we had not here, but one time there was a case in, I think it was Colorado, where they convened a secret grand jury, and the DA just basically went around and got employees from his own office and formed a grand jury. I think there should be a boxing match for people who want to run for president. That would be more interesting. I don't know if I'd like that, because Joe would beat the shit out of Trump. I'm 100% sure. Trump's never taken a swing at anyone or had anyone punch him his whole life. His whole life has been do you know who my daddy is? That's his whole life. Biden, I'm sure, has been in a scrap or two in his life. So I think Biden would beat the shit out of him. So I'm sorry. I don't care what your politics are. If you don't think Biden could beat the shit out of fat ass Trump, you're crazy. Trump ain't never thrown a punch in his life. I'm sorry, anyone that listens to Tim Pool cannot have my vote. Who listens to Tim Pool? Does Trump listen to Tim Pool? I don't know. I barely know who he is. And choke. Yeah, if I was Bush, I'd have to choke on a pretzel. I've choked on pretzel before. I'm sure. I used to eat a lot of pretzels. When you eat a lot of pretzels, your mouth gets dry. Sometimes you choke on one. Now, I know that people are going to make this out to be some sort of phallic thing, but I love the pretzel rods. You know, you get the rods in the bag. I love pretzel rods. I'll eat a whole bag of pretzel rods. Love pretzel rods. The rolled gold ones. You know, that's ones I like. The rolled gold pretzel rods. Love them. Ain't had any forever. I need to get some. That's what she said. I think it was stated that they wanted to keep Marlin's lineup as is and just expand the lineup with both brands. I want to see what they do. Were you ever a drinking man, Yankee? No. I was raised by a drop-dead drunk everyday alcoholic. I have no desire to have my life lived that way or in any semblance of that. I see what alcohol does to people's potential and who they are. I don't have any interest in that. And I'm pretty happy with my life. I don't have to cope. I don't have to have a coping mechanism. And I can have fun without having my senses dulled. I never understood that. In fact, one of my best friends, Ed, he always like, why did we stop hanging out together? Because as he was older and we were talking again, like he was like my best friend. We're like, he's like, why did we ever stop hanging out? I regret that we stopped hanging out in high school, after high school. And I was like, well, the reason we stopped hanging out is one, we were in different places because I went to the military and blah, blah, blah. And even when I was back, we didn't hang out because the last time we went to Kings Island, which was our senior year together, you got all pissy and didn't want to stay because you couldn't sneak alcohol into the park and pot. And how were you ever going to have fun at Kings fucking Island unless you were high or drunk? And I was like, yeah, we've gone different directions. So, of course, I didn't say that to him, but that was, I used we went our own separate ways and we went to, I've been sober a little over a year now. Best decision I ever made. Yeah, drinking is just, it's a coping mechanism more than anything else. Most people don't need that. And I find that people who drink as a coping mechanism, and this is a professional opinion, it weakens their normal coping abilities. Like the people you see get like the angriest at fucking rallies are people who use marijuana or alcohol, etc., to cope with their normal everyday stresses. And then when they get into a situation where they're just faced with their stress and they're sober, they fucking go off the handle because they can't handle it. So. If it came down to an actual fist fight, Trump would just claim bone spurs and run away. Probably. Yeah, I'd love people don't ever count. In fact, these fucking draft dodgers, they don't care about that at all. It's like, where is the values of the right? Don't the right value military service? And you praise a fucking draft dodger? So, not that either of them have served, but at least Biden's son did. So what did Trump Jr. ever do? Besides, you know who my daddy is? That's his whole life too. I keep wondering if what's his face will repeat his question. He kept asking me that answer, but he hasn't. I tried drinking and it just makes me dangerously depressed. Well, it's a depressant, so it should. Do you have a health problem that prevents you from drinking? No. I not drank back when I was young and healthy and just have no need for it. I don't need it as a coping mechanism in my life. I don't need it to have fun. It doesn't have any positive effect on anyone. Even those studies that they did that shows, well, having a drink or two at night is good for you, turned out to be total fucking bogus bullshit that were sponsored by, alcohol companies. There is no physical benefit to drinking. There are some physical benefits from some types of wines because of the stuff that's in them, but you could just take the stuff that's in them and not have to drink the wine. It's not the alcohol. Have you ever shot bowling pins against other people? No, I always make sure there's nothing behind them when I shoot them. If I'm going to prop them up against something, it isn't going to be people. Does voting even mean anything anymore? Because both political parties all seem to be interested in big government. Well, you're voting for basically the same thing, but voting still matters. I mean, the day we say voting doesn't matter anymore, then that's the day we admit that this country is no longer a functional country. So I would be real hesitant. These people who say, oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, well, then you're just saying that democracy isn't a thing anymore. And you're degrading our system. You're bad-mouthing the system. Earthy says, I believe no-knock warrant, plain clothes, and no cameras was on purpose, then knocked on door without announcing. I think they hoped Brianna would open the door and they could do search and pocket some cash. What's what they were out there looking for? They were looking for drug money. Because, the guy who falsified the information for the warrant knows he'll get a notch on his belt and possibly a promotion, et cetera, if he can bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash to the department. So they do this stuff all the time. It's fishing trip. The law enforcement goes on so many fucking fishing trips and you just don't hear about 90% of it, because 90% of the time, if they don't find it, they'll find like one joint or something and they'll arrest people or something. So they have an excuse to have done it, but it's mostly fishing trips. Can a moderate win the presidency going forward? I think so. I hope so. don't think most people have. I think most people, if they actually listened, would find that they have more in common with people who are moderate than they do any extremists, because most people aren't extremists. Most people aren't red or blue. Most people are purple. They don't fly or eat people, and they don't have a horn, but they are purple. I really want a Marlin 1894 CB 26-inch barrel 9-shot 4570. Well, you keep wanting. The first time I was ever drunk, it felt like someone was beating my head with a sledgehammer. I don't understand why some people like getting drunk. Yeah, I don't like it at all. I just don't like the feeling of loss of control. A lot of drinks just taste good. No, they don't. If you didn't get a taste for alcohol and you hadn't developed the ability to ignore alcohol, you wouldn't think they tasted good. And a lot of the same drinks can be made to taste the same without the alcohol. I watched some of NEA's older videos. He's gotten better with age, and then he's laughing, so I don't think he means that. How did you find out that you had the diabetes? What were your symptoms? I never had any symptoms. I just regular checkups, and when they did my blood work, they're like, your blood sugar's borderline diabetic. And then I went through a very intense change of diet and exercise, and I went from 268 pounds down to 198 pounds, and then went back and got my numbers checked, and they were way better. So then I stopped having my numbers checked. How do you know about drinks taste when they don't drink? Because I've tasted them. I owned a fucking bar a couple of times. I've tasted drinks. I just don't drink. Alcohol is legalized substance abuse because Uncle Sam can benefit from it. Yes, exactly. Isn't that like saying someone that shot a couple of shotguns when they're young can tell you that all the Chiapa rhinos are useless? No. Because here's the number one thing in mixology. If you've ever been a bartender, known a bartender, etc., the number one thing you have to try to do when you make a drink is to cover the taste of the alcohol. So let's talk about how alcoholic drinks can be tasty. Well, they can if they succeed in dulling the taste of the alcohol. That's the number one rule of mixing drinks. So, and unless someone wants something like bourbon and Coke, who they've developed a taste for bourbon, but they developed that taste for bourbon. They didn't like it. I've never met anyone who took their first drink, and most bartenders say that no one's ever taken their first drink of anything like whiskey, scotch, etc., and liked it. When they're younger, they drink it because of the effect it's going to have, getting them drunk, and then they develop a taste for it. They don't take to it naturally. In fact, most of the tastes of alcohol are tastes your body would naturally reject as being bad. That your natural genetic response to or evolved response to would be a negative response, because they are the things that tell you it's fermented, it's bad, it doesn't taste good, etc. So that's why they say alcohol is an acquired taste. Listening to you talk about alcohol, drinking a beer. Find me something that tastes like Yamakasi whiskey. Well, no one would drink Yamakasi whiskey if they hadn't developed a taste for whiskey. They would, first person, if you take someone right now, 17 years old, never tasted alcohol, give them that, they'll be like, bleh, something's wrong with this. If Trump got rid of the NFA, he would win in a landslide. If he could do that, I don't think he has that power. And one-eyed, one-horned flying, you are sold. That was from Earthy. Brad Whitey says chicken breast or thigh. It depends on what I'm in the mood for. If I'm in the mood for dark meat, well, then I want a thigh. I like thighs. If I'm in the mood for white meat, I want a breast. And usually I like breasts because they're not as heavy feeling, after you eat them, and not as greasy. So I usually go for white meat, the breast. That's with chicken. Like you said, with chicken. So when I go to KFC and we get a 12-piece bucket, because usually it's just me and my son are eating the bucket, and everyone else is either getting a sandwich or chicken strips. So I'll get like an 8 or a 12-piece bucket for us, depending on how many days I want to have extra chicken left over for, or if I want to have extra chicken left the next day for both of us. And I get it all breasts, all thighs, so half breasts, half thighs. 6 breasts, 6 thighs. Now on turkey, it's the opposite. I don't care for white meat in turkey unless it's mixed in gravy and mashed potatoes, etc. I far prefer dark meat on turkey. You missed my super chat for Timothy Mouse. Let me go up. Brad Tidy Whitey's asked about the chicken breast or thigh. Dave Glick is the one that said the one-eyed, one-horned flying. You are old. I thought he said sold. You're old, he said. Earthy is the one I did about the no-knock warrants. That was what Earthy did. I'm panning up to see if I see it. Aha! Timothy Mouse. I saw this one. I just don't know why I didn't answer. I think I got distracted by something shiny or something. What do you think? What do you think about due process? Okay, I don't understand the question because what do you mean? What do I think about due process? I think it's one of the fundamental pillars of our system. No one should ever be denied a right without due process. No one should ever be convicted of a crime without due process. That's why I never understood why the Second Amendment can be denied without due process. But the same people will make a big deal about the First Amendment being denied. So the due process is like the underpinning element of our democracy and our legal system. I already have a concealed carry, so I don't need that. I'm eyeing a 680 plus, a 686 plus. What barrel length would you go with? I'd go with 4-inch because I find it balances the best. That's the one I like the best, but you might like 6-inch better. You must have something in your past that made you hate alcohol, like a bad experience, or you're just picky. No, just never got into it, and it tastes like shit. Like I say, I've owned bars. I know the main point of making a mixed drink or drink for people who aren't big drinkers is to make the alcohol taste go away, because the taste of alcohol is just inherently offensive to us as organisms, and you have to develop a taste for it. I am also a lover of breasts and thighs. Take that for what you will. You have to develop a taste for green olives. Doesn't make them bad. I don't like green olives. My sister always loved green olives. I don't know if she had to develop a taste for them. She just liked them. But I think they're gross. I don't like them. First time I sipped a beer, it tasted nasty. Now it doesn't bother me. Well, yeah, everybody when they first drink beer think it tastes bad. How could anyone get through graduate school without alcohol? Law school sucked worse than Army. I did just fine. And the one time I really got drunk in college, I was not graduate school. It was undergraduate school. That was the time I threw up in the Burger King. You know who develops taste for things? Babies. Yeah, but not usually alcohol. And no, they don't have to develop a taste for milk. They're inherently drawn to milk. You stick milk in a baby's mouth, they don't spit it out the first 6 times, but take it just because, well, I get really hungry if I don't. They take right to it. Same thing with a lot of sweet stuff. They take right to it. The taste is not offensive to them. Alcohol is an offensive taste. Asset forfeiture was glorified in the 80s on shows like Miami Vice, where they used cars and houses to trap drug dealers. Yes. And they love that. They love getting that money off of it. We know a person who got their house and property seized because their tenants were running a meth lab in the garage. And the city seized their home and their property. Never gave it back to them that I know of. I don't talk to them anymore, so maybe they got it back eventually, but didn't get it back then. I understand you have no love for Trump, but constantly putting him down often leads chat folks to believe you prefer Biden and Harris, who clearly want to ban guns. I can easily see why someone would still prefer Biden and Harris, even if they do not like guns, because I think they feel comfortable in knowing that a Supreme Court would have the final say in that, and they feel comfortable in knowing a Republican Senate would never pass the legislature. So I don't see, if you were just looking at Trump versus Biden, I think most people would prefer Biden. And I don't think most reasonable people would like Trump. And I don't think the 2A saying he's pro 2A is the reason to support Trump, because he's not pro 2A. He hasn't shown any way to be pro 2A. He actually is the only person I've ever heard say, hey, let's make some laws that take their property first, and then we'll give them due process later. He's the only president I've ever heard say that out loud. Name me one other that's ever said that. And no, I don't prefer Biden or Harris. I don't like either of them. I don't like Trump or Biden. That's why I'm voting for Joe Jorgensen. Very open about who I'm voting for. And now I wouldn't condemn anyone in here. There's people in here right now, a lot of them, based on the emails I get, that are not voting for Trump and would never vote for Trump because they think he's an authoritarian who's a threat to our democracy. And I can't argue with them on that. Just like some people don't like Biden because they think he's an anti-gunner who's a threat to our constitutional rights. And I'm not going to argue with them on that. But in both cases, I'm hoping the Supreme Court is what would make the decision. And here's the thing. When it comes to authoritarian shit, people like Kavanaugh are going to go right along with that. People like Barr are going to go right along with that. So, because they're part of the ruling power if authoritarianism takes over. So I don't trust them on that topic. I do trust them more on guns and protecting the Second Amendment. My drug of choice is spoonfuls of crunchy peanut butter. That's gross too. I don't like crunchy peanut butter. It's like they didn't get finished. I was in a grand jury 4 years ago. If you ever want to talk about my experience, we can email each other. You can email me anyway. Trying to find out where I'm at. We've seen you in a dress and makeup, so you would make the better first lady. I don't think I look good in a dress, though. I used to look better, but not my midriff is not what it used to be. How are you so knowledgeable on them then? Not like you knew what they were thinking. He's talking about the Proud Boys. Because I not only am familiar with their organization, but I have spoken to many of them, several of the ones that showed up down there on Saturday. And they were very clear about the turnout was not what they were expecting, and that's why they changed the location. In fact, the police came to one of the organizers and said, hey, if you go downtown, we're not going to be able to protect you. That's the exact wording they used, and they changed their location because they were counting on the police to protect them, and the police said, we are not going to protect you. So they said, hey, let's go across town to a different park. So experience and being there is one of the things that makes me know more than you. So if you were there and spoke to anybody, I'd love to hear what you heard. If not, shut the fuck up because you're talking out your ass. From 1 to 100, how gay is Jared Kushner? I don't think Jared Kushner is gay. I think he's just effeminate because he's like one of those pansy mama boys. You know, he's just a little prissy little shithead. I don't think he's gay at all. Him and Ivanka have children and everything. The ones that I'm pretty sure are gay. Well, Lindsey Graham. Everyone knows fucking Lindsey Graham's gay. I don't know how that could even be considered a secret. Jeff Sessions is a big old homo. Anyone from Alabama knows Jeff Sessions is a big old homo. When I lived there, it was not. It was a secret, as in it didn't want to be public because people wouldn't vote for him. But anybody in the know knew Jeff Sessions was a homo. And 3, Mike Pence. Pretty much certain that man's a homo. Anyone who calls his wife mother and is as hardcore anti-gay religious as he is a fucking homo. Sorry. And I'm not using homo as a derogatory term. I think Mike Pence is a far more derogatory term than homo. But I do think Mike Pence is definitely a homosexual. How did you refinish those Lamo camo grips? I just sanded off the gloss finish and then took tongue oil to them. Don't recall a single time SCOTUS has reversed an anti-2A federal law. Can we have no faith that they will in the future? ACB, if you dig deep, seems like a statist to me, not constitutionalist. I dug deep, didn't seem like a statist to me. And also, yes, I can name many times that the Supreme Court has ruled against anti-gun laws. but there's not that many federal anti-gun laws that are really that offensive. It's mostly state level laws. That's why it's better to live in places like Arizona than California when it comes to gun laws. And yes, the Supreme Court has ruled against anti-gun laws many times. And that was when they had not such a conservative majority and not a constitutionalist majority. Minuteman ammo reloading like crazy right now? Probably. Tongue oil. You licked the grips. No, tongue, T-U-N-G oil. T-U-N-G oil. Not the way you spelled the other tongue. What grit? Well, I took the gloss off with 200 grit, and then I sanded it with 500 grit, and then I resealed it. There are many gay males that procreated. Well, yeah, but I just don't see anything about Jared Kushner that makes me think he's gay. Just pretty. He's a little kid that's never done anything in his life. I don't see any indications. I don't see the rampant, unjustified anger and hatred towards gays. I don't see the supreme, the super religious beliefs that there's no possible way they could possibly agree with if they're rational. I don't see any of that stuff. I don't see the odd behavior towards his wife. Like when a man actually said, "Oh, I can't be alone with female staff members, or because my wife knows something might happen." You're a fucking fag, dude. Sorry. Accept it. Move on in your life. Be proud. Wave your flag. Stop being such a hateful hypocrite, and be like, and you don't even have to make a big deal out of it. You don't have to be out there like, "I'm a fag, everybody, and I'm proud." You just have to not go the other way. Don't stand on a stump going, "Gay people are evil," and "I'm a good straight man. I'm straight." Here's another thing. Most straight people have never had to say, "I'm straight." Ever. So just don't do that. I don't care if Lindsey Graham, I don't care that because he doesn't go around yelling anti-gay shit all the time. I think he did more so in his beginning of his career. He doesn't so much nowadays. And he hasn't gotten married, and he doesn't have a beard to try to make people think he's straight. So I'm like, just do you, dude. Do what you want to do, as long as you're not taking the opposite. Pence is one of those he's like the gay priest, and he's horrible. How important are those little metal dowels in the wood grips? I lost one yesterday. They're very important. They actually keep the grips from slipping. So I would find it. If you can't find it, I think I have extras. If it's a hoe grip or a VZ. What's Earthy bitching about? I could call him Eartha. Like Bertha with no B. Do you dislike black powder firearms? No, I actually think they're cool. I just don't think they're practical, but I think they're cool. I just don't own any. Thank you. I was trying to get you to elaborate for the folks who didn't know. How did you refinish those? I read that, didn't I? And I answered it. Whole 2%, 1%. Which milk do you prefer? Whole. That whole milk fat being bad for you thing is bullshit. That was from the food triangle back in the days when sugar and everything else, we're trying to make it seem like, it's the other stuff that's bad for you. And the milk stuff actually came from that new craze, like in the 70s and 80s, where people were like, "Oh, you shouldn't drink milk after you're 2 years old, and the fat's bad for you." So that is also bullshit. Whole percent milk is just as good for you as 2% milk, and no worse for you than 2% milk. And in fact, 2% milk doesn't have a lot of the nutritional value and a lot of the good things that whole milk has. So whole milk for me. We went down to 2% years ago, and we did 2% milk for years. And then when we read the studies that were like, that's all fucking bullshit. These are actual peer-reviewed studies that tell you that's all bullshit. And we looked at what the actual backing of the original case was, which was nothing. So we decided, well, then fuck it, go back to whole milk. Get a show together with anti-third party positions and chat about how to deal with the election and the goals of the concept. That would be good. I've tried to get people to come in here that will say, voting third party's a waste of your vote. And I'm like, hey, we'll come into the slap the yank, and they won't do it. They won't do it. Same thing with the people about the elections shit. When people are like, oh, there's election fraud and it's going to be, mail-in ballots are dangerous. I'm like, well, good. Come into a slap the yank. We'll discuss it. They won't do it. So there's some things people are willing to be loud about and willing to believe, but they're not willing to defend or actually have to think about. 2% milk is like water. No, skim milk is like water. Skim milk is like light blue water. And I don't know. Can't think of any use for it. Do you think humans need to eat meat? Well, we're designed to need the protein from meat, but if we can get that protein from other sources, there's no requirement for us to eat meat. But let's just say this, it does take a concerted effort if you don't eat meat to get a proper balance of nutrients in your diet. It's not like you can just naturally just eat whatever vegetables and fruits and stuff that are available in your area and be fine. If you're going to take meat out of your diet, you have to take exceptional steps to replace it somehow. To replace the protein and other nutrients you get from the meat is something you have to put back. So it's not like you can I'll just cut the meat out of my diet and just eat the other stuff that I always ate with the meat and be fine. No, you won't. You have to supplement your diet. You have to replace that meat somehow. I think that even if third parties are worse than Dems and GOP, it is worth getting them in government to break up a vicious cycle. Well, it's worth it to have another choice. What is your favorite musket? I don't have a favorite musket. Very easy to make dowels from drill bits. Yes, it is. If you just find the end of a drill bit that fits into it and then just cut it and file the end of it flat, you can make yourself another one of those little dowels. Like the priest from Letterkenny, but not as funny. Exactly. Where am I at? Is George Jorgensen, isn't he also against guns as well? Well, there's no George Jorgensen. There's a Joe Jorgensen, and she's a she, not a he. And no, she's not against guns. She's pro Second Amendment. She is, however, pro open borders. That's a libertarian position. People who say we need more libertarians, they don't really think through the positions of libertarians. And I can accept that because I accept that her belief in open borders is simpatico with her position as a libertarian. That is actually what libertarians should think. It's not hypocritical. If she was like, I'm libertarian, but I'm tight border control, well, then I'd be like, well, then you're a hypocrite because you're not libertarian. You're a liar. So I can accept the fact that she's for open borders because I don't think that we'll ever have just open borders. But I can also say that if we controlled our immigration the way most libertarians say to, which is by not boxing people out at the border, some imaginary line, but taking corporations who operate in the United States and holding them accountable if they hire illegal aliens, put the burden of prosecution onto the companies that hire them, not onto the people themselves, and allow for, temporary work visas, etc., for people who come up here and work temporary jobs like harvesting, etc. If there was nothing for them after and people say, well, they'll just stay on those temporary visas. Well, not if there was nothing else for them. If they got up here and they didn't get welfare and they didn't get to send their kids to school because they weren't registered citizens, and if they didn't get to do these other things, well, then they wouldn't stay. Why would they stay? They would be, just as bad off here. They'd be in the streets. So at least they're back home, they probably have some sort of family structure, and the money they earned while they were here temporarily can be used to make their life better there. So I can agree with their philosophy, but unless the government start actually holding the people who perpetuate the reason they're here instead of just the people who take advantage of it, well, then we're not going to have that. Do you think a third party would eventually devolve into the same power structure? How? If you've got three choices, you can't just have two diametrically opposed opinions. You'd have to have a more varied opinion there, or else they wouldn't have three parties. When you only have two parties, it's two extremes, and always. When you have three parties, it's hard to find three extremes. So the third party has to fall somewhere in the middle. And when the party in the middle starts getting more of the votes, the other parties have to adjust to what's the more popular opinion. So I think third parties do nothing but good. I'm against any tall buildings because they tend to attract giant monkeys. Yes, they do. That's why we here in Portland, we don't have any real tall buildings, and we have not had one single giant ape attack. So I think that's pretty much proof. Like, cause New York just fucking keeps getting attacked by giant monkeys. So hell, and even in Chicago, they had that pterodactyl thing attack one of the big buildings. I forget the name of that documentary, but peanut or plain M&Ms. I like peanut M&Ms better, but when I eat them, my mouth goes numb. So I've had to stop eating them because I noticed every time we'd go to the store, I would go to the movies, I was getting peanut M&Ms, and I started doing my mouth's going numb, my tongue's all numb, my mouth's all numb, and I was told, you're developing a peanut allergy. Stop eating fucking peanut M&Ms. And I'm like, well, I ate peanut M&Ms my whole life. I said, well, yeah, and now you can't. That's what I got told. So I don't eat peanut M&Ms anymore, other than just like very rarely. I also had to cut down how much peanut butter I eat because I used to eat a peanut butter sandwich every day. I would get up in the morning and I'm not a breakfast person. So I wouldn't feel like making breakfast. I'm a person like when I get up, I don't shower in the mornings. I shower at night before I go to bed. On the days I shower before I go to bed. And then when I get up in the morning, I am going to immediately put my shirt on, put my pants on, and go do what I'm doing today. I don't like to waste any time from the time I get out of bed to the time I'm out the front door doing whatever I do. And if anyone figures it out, what the fuck it is I do, let me know. But I'm usually doing something. So I'm not a big breakfast person. I don't like to take time to make breakfast. So I would always just make myself a peanut butter sandwich on white bread every morning before I headed out the door. Because, peanut butter gives you good energy to get through till lunch, whenever you can stop, take a break, and eat. So I used to eat a peanut butter sandwich every day. Now I'm trying not to do that. What I've been doing lately is I've been hard boiling eggs and leaving them in the refrigerator and eating a couple hard boiled eggs in the morning. Did he just say on the days that I shower? Yes, I don't shower every day. Fucking, that's one, a waste of water, and two, unnecessary for most people. If you use deodorant or antiperspirant, let's just say if you use antiperspirant and you don't do anything strenuous or get dirty during the day, there's no reason to take a shower every day. You're just ruining your fucking skin. You're just feeding the fucking, industrial complex that likes to make soaps and shampoos, etc. Like the ones that tell you, oh, lather, rinse, repeat, like 3 times because they want you to use more of their product. When we don't need to use nearly as many soaps and things as we use. That's why I went to that Dr. Sasquatch soap, because it's natural ingredient stuff. It's not got all the crap in it. It's much less harmful to your skin. And I shower every other day. I don't shower every day. If I shower every day, my skin gets dry and red and itchy. I don't like it. Now that I'm old, it's just always covered in scabs because it seems like my the skin on my legs is thinner than it used to be. So now, like the other day when I was cutting that tree and I was walking through the branches and walking through the briars, it just cut my legs to pieces. Places would have usually been, like 10, 20 years ago would have been a light red welt where a thorn caught me, was a bloody scratch now. So my legs are always torn to pieces because I wear shorts and I wander through shit a lot. It's 7:15. It's after time for this to be over with. We were supposed to be over with an hour ago. So we're going to cut this off. I want to thank everyone for coming. This went by so fast tonight. I feel like shit, but it went by fast for some reason. Wear jeans. I don't like jeans. I mean, I'll wear them in the wintertime, but I like gym shorts. Gym shorts are comfy. Gym shorts and flip-flops. That's what I like. Gym shorts and flip-flops. My preferred dress code: t-shirt, hat, gym shorts, flip-flops. The only reason I want to wear a belt or pants is if I'm going to carry my gun. And here I don't have to be carrying a gun because it's sitting right the fuck there. Got one sitting there, got one sitting in the house. So I don't, unless someone jumps me in the 5 seconds it takes me to get from this door to that door, I'm pretty okay. Skim milk is water masquerading as milk. Ron Swanson. Yes, exactly. But like I said, we are out of time. So I want to say thanks. We're way past time for what it should have been today. I want to thank everyone for showing up today. Thank you very much for coming. Flip flop gunner. Well, no, flip flop gunner makes it sound like I flip flop on gun issues. These are just tactical flip flops. Thanks to everyone for coming today. I really appreciate it. Thanks for everyone that donates to the Pets and Vets program and gets entered in the friend drawing. Like I said, we'll do that drawing tomorrow. Also, thanks to everyone who's a patron supporter. I really do appreciate it. Today's the day everybody drops out so they don't get charged. Or yesterday was the day everyone usually drops out so they don't get charged. But thanks. They're not going to be able to do that anymore. Because set up now, we're going to pay immediately. Because people were signing up on the 2nd and dropping out on the 29th every month just so they can see the posts and stuff. Because you can do that on Patreon. So made it to where you have to pay when you sign up. Your first month payment comes out right away. But it's for the next month. It's not for, you don't get charged again on the 1st. You paid the one that would be due on the 1st when you pay. Like if you sign up on the 25th, you pay that day, but you're paying the first of the month payment, and you don't have a payment due until the next month. So thanks to everyone that's patron over on Patreon. That's what keeps the channel rolling. If you aren't one, please go be one. Also, thanks for everything you all do, because it's the things that you all do that make it possible for me to do the things I do, which is just take credit for the stuff that you all actually do. And I like doing that because it makes me feel like a big man. So until tomorrow at 7 p.m. Pacific time, when I have my chat, remember it's going to be a little later. It's going to be back to the normal time because I got doctor appointment stuff. Until tomorrow, 7 p.m. Pacific time, I will say, see you.